All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about debt, but not in the way you might think. We're not just looking at spreadsheets and interest rates. This is a story about a hidden trap, sure, but really, it's about the journey to find clarity when you're caught in one.
And this right here, this is where it all starts. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It reminds you that debt isn't just about the numbers on a screen. It's a fight happening inside your head, every single day.
Look, we're not going to sit here and talk about perfect budgets or some magic formula to get rich. This is a story about what really happens, the messy, complicated truth of trying to get back on your feet when a plan just completely falls apart. And it shows that the way out isn't about being some kind of hero. It's about getting real, getting honest. You know, a lot of the time, the worst part about debt isn't even the money. It's that feeling of isolation, right? The crushing silence, like you're the only one in the world going through it. And that's exactly where we find our main character, Rahul.
Okay, so before you jump to any conclusions about Rahul, I want you to look at this number, 92.4%. That's his on-time payment rate. We're talking over 1,600 payments. It just completely shatters that easy story we tell ourselves that people in debt are just irresponsible. The real story? It's so much more complicated than that.
So the big question is, how does a guy with a track record like that end up in a total crisis? Well, let's break it down. It really shows how just one decision, even one made with the best intentions, can set off this insane domino effect. And here it is, the classic fork in the road. On one hand, you could ask family and friends for help, but then you risk the judgment, the awkward talks. On the other hand, there's a loan app. It's fast, it's private, no questions asked. It feels like independence. And Rahul, like honestly a lot of us would, he took that second path, completely unaware of the trap that was waiting for him. And this is exactly how the trap snaps shut. See, step one was a gamble, investing in stocks and crypto. But when that gamble went south, step three wasn't another gamble to get rich. No, it was just an attempt to patch the hole from step one. It's that classic debt spiral, right? You're just borrowing from one place to pay another, and it just gets faster and faster. And here's where things get really nasty. It's not just about borrowing money, it's about where he borrowed it from. These high-interest loans and credit cards with rates shooting up to 40%. I mean, think about that. At that point, the debt isn't just growing, it's exploding. It becomes almost mathematically impossible to ever get ahead. And this is what happens when the numbers become impossible. We're not talking about a polite reminder in the mail. We're talking about aggressive collection calls day and night. Harassing messages sent to your family, your friends. It's this constant soul-crushing stress that just follows you everywhere. It's brutal. So this kind of pressure, it doesn't just mess with your finances. It completely changes your relationships. It puts your genuine desire to make things right up against a lender's cold, hard deadline. And that's a tough place to be.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Think about it. A friend who once said, "Hey, let me know if you need anything," suddenly the only thing they say is, "When are you going to pay me?" It's heartbreaking how quickly care turns into a transaction.
Now, from the perspective of the person who owes the money, saying this is what I can manage right now is an act of total honesty. It's them trying to be real, trying to work with you. It's not an excuse. It's an opening for a real conversation. But then you flip it around. To the person who's owed money, that same honest statement can sound like, well, like stalling. Their own fear kicks in. They're not thinking about a new plan. They're thinking, this is my money, I just want it back. The uncertainty is what's killing them. And that really gets to the heart of it, right? This one question, am I only trustworthy when I'm on time? It really makes you think, does a financial slip-up suddenly erase your entire character? Where do we draw the line between someone's situation and who they are as a person? Okay, so all of this stress and panic leads to a major turning point. But here's the thing, it's not what you'd expect. There's no lottery win, no miracle solution. The real shift was something internal, something so much quieter, but way more powerful. And you know what came first? It wasn't some brilliant idea. It was just tiredness. A deep, deep exhaustion from carrying that same worry around, day in and day out. The story is so real about this. The change didn't start with a bang. It started with a whisper, when he was just too tired to panic anymore. And this is the key insight. The breakthrough didn't come from doing more. It came from stopping. He stopped making those hopeful promises he couldn't keep. He stopped throwing small payments at the loudest problem just to get a moment of peace. He stopped beating himself up for past mistakes. He just let go. That was the real first step.
And that's the real win here. Look, the numbers on the page didn't magically vanish overnight. But the fear, the paralyzing fear that had been running his life, that was gone. And once the fear was out of the driver's seat, he could actually see the road ahead. He could finally make a real, honest plan.
So what does this path to clarity actually feel like in the real world? Well, the story gives us this amazing metaphor by taking us on a literal, physical journey.
And this timeline just lays it out so perfectly. The journey starts at 9 p.m., booking a ticket after canceling before. Sound familiar? That uncertainty. Then, at 5 a.m., he starts this long 14-kilometer walk. And halfway through, he does something really symbolic. He takes off his slippers and just leaves them behind. A literal unburdening. By the end of the day, yeah, his feet are tired, but his heart feels light.
I went with uncertainty, but returned with clarity. Wow, that line just hits, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the whole point. The goal wasn't to show up at the end with all the answers. It was to swap that heavy, crushing weight of not knowing for the simple lightness of just seeing things clearly. That's the real prize.
So we're going to leave you with this to think about. Maybe the way forward for you, whatever you're facing, isn't about making another big grand promise. Maybe it's about finding the small, honest plan that you can actually stick to. And maybe that only starts when you finally let go of the big plan that's been breaking your back. So, the question for you is, what's the one promise you can stop making so you can find the plan you can finally start keeping?